Let's talk investing in reverse 1999. Welcome back to Cocky Gachas, and in this video I'm going to share with you guys my investment strategy when it comes to the units in reverse 1999. Just like real life, investment is very important. You don't want to run into a situation whereby your investment doesn't pay off. It sucks in real life and it also sucks in a game like reverse 1999. So you can see for story mode itself, I've cleared story mode 4-23. This is the last one, right? No more already after this until they release chapter 5. And for that, I've only invested in 4 units. So for story unit, 4 units, and subsequently you would need 6 units. So definitely plan your team around 6 units first. This is like the early parts of the first seasons of Limbos. You will need 6 units. And you might ask, hey, why do I need 6 units? And the reason is very, very simple. If I were to go into the artificial whatever that is, okay, we go into this thing over here. The last 2 stages for this, Unknown Dream 9 and 10, they remove your units after you win with 10, meaning since you will clear with 3 units, you will be removed, the whole team removed, so you need another set of 3 invested units, so total 6 units. Same for Limbo. Okay, this is also very important. Limbo, ultimate key to progression. I'm also going to talk about this thing in a separate video very soon, but 4 units, 6 units, this is the formula that you are looking at. Now we talk about the rarity of the units. You can see over here, I invested in 3 6-star units plus 1 5-star units. This is absolute poor choice. But of course, because I'm rushing the game, I kind of know what I'm doing. I feel like I could get away with some of the poor investment choices because honestly, you see this Insight. To go to Insight 2, you need 4 of this nonsense thing, and then you need 3 of this, and you need a bunch of other resources compared to a 4-star unit. If you just look at Eagle, what it takes for Eagle to go to Insight 2, half of that. Okay, so this is the reason why people always say that don't always invest in so many 6-star units or high rarity units in the early game. The resources are finite, and your stamina is finite, but the amount of characters that you have is technically infinite. It's so many characters, right? If you are like a bit more wily, you pull a few more, or you're super lucky, you pull like 4 6-star units, you're gonna have a bad time if you invest in every single one of them. And when do you stop? Okay, so investing units also have a limit. You need to know when to stop. Personally, I would say that just to clear Limbo, I2 level 50 is enough. In CBT, I cleared everything with I2 50, okay, in 1 week. Okay, albeit CBT, they gave a bit of freebies, but I did that. So just go to I2, max this to level 50. Some of the units will need I3, but that is in the future. I think everything should stick to I2 level 50 for a start. And for resonance, at the start, you are going to have a hard time even resonating your units to anything beyond level 5. But as a cap, try to keep them at level 10. Beyond level 10, it's really too expensive because of other materials that come in. But at the start, you wouldn't even be thinking about resonance. Just focus on the Insight as well as the levels. I2 level 50. Okay, that is the cap. Try to avoid so many 6 stars. I say 2 6 stars and then the rest 5 stars, maybe 4 stars, 3 stars would be good. And of course, you might say, hey, Cocky, you say that 2 6-star units, then what is the rest of my 4 units going to be, right? Which 5 stars or which 4 stars, 3 stars? So I think 5 stars is pretty well documented already in the tier list. Reroll tier list, you can see, right? Beacon, of course, one of the better ones. Charlie, all of those are good units. Soneto, but 4 stars and 3 stars are not as documented. So I'll focus more on that. So viable 4 stars for investment is going to be stuff like Eagle. Eagle is very good, especially since it is a plant type. For Limbo, it is going to excel, albeit plants like the star type enemies in Limbo for the first seasons, if I recall correctly, are pretty difficult. So even with Eagle, you might struggle a bit, but with Eagle, you are going to have a low investment unit that is a crit machine, very sick crit machine. Okay, very strong here. With a bit of investment, because 4-star lower investment, you can definitely max it out at I2 very easily. Another good option for plant type is going to be Lassos. Just nice, they are packed side to side. So over here you can see I did invest in Lassos previously for until level 26, and that is because I haven't drew Sotheby. And of course, like I mentioned, if your resources, you feel that, okay, I don't want to play the short game, right? Don't want to focus on short-term progression, I can stretch to the long term, then you have Sotheby, then probably you can choose not to invest in Lassos. But if you want to rush for Limbo clearage, this 3-star unit is invaluable. 3-star freaking healer, which is very rare, and also with the ultimate reduced Muxi. This is like pseudo seal, right? And actually it's even better than seal. So with the ultimate very strong, and of course the healing comes in clutch since we are lacking healers. The only thing is this skill that is not very useful since her damage is not that good. So Insight 2, very easy. You can see all the stupid materials, so little materials just to get her to Insight 1 and beyond. Okay, so very easy to get. Other than that, there are of course other stuff. You can use the apple, you can use Leilani, but I'm going to say that these units are not as good if you invest in them. I would prefer to use them in a separate way, which I'm also going to touch on very shortly. But other of the 4 stars and 3-star units that is worth investing, I personally feel, this is my perspective, right? I think Oliver Fogg is a very good choice. Personally, I'm still thinking whether I should invest in Soneto versus her for the Limbo. Star Affinity or Star Afflector, so very good, as well as the supporting skills. You can see even at level 1 gives 1 stack of sturdiness, as well as the reality defense and mental defense +2. So this one is good for survival. This one not really the best single target skill anyways. And then this one is for penetration, so a bit of damage coming in. This is quite useful since in Limbo, right, a lot of the conditions for you to get max star is going to be clearing within how many turns. So having a non-full support unit is going to be useful if your team doesn't boast a lot of strong DPS that is allowing you to clear the condition, especially since like Eternity, I wouldn't say she is the highest DPS among the other 6 stars. And with that, Oliver Fogg can help to fill in the hole, right, when you are using Oliver Fogg for the Limbo stages. Also notable is going to be the Fu. So I see usually people rank the Fu quite low, but honestly, the Fu is a 3-star unit that is very strong in the taunting abilities, as well as reducing Moxie. So you can see over here, taunting and gives Corrode, which gives a percentage current HP debuff when they hit you, which is very useful for protecting the higher priority units that are squishier, such as Eternity. So I think that this is pretty decent. In CBT, I did max out the Fu to Insight 2, if I recall correctly, as a 7th unit. And of course, I did mention just now that you should only invest in 6 units, but of course with the lower rarity ones, like I said, the investment is lower, so you are able to field a better team. Comparatively, if you were to field a full team of 4 versus 3 invested units that are not low rarity, maybe you have a stronger team compared to that even. And especially since like the portraits are practically free, right? So you can see over here, I have a lot of these portraits from drawing, but right now I'm not going to get any more portraits since I'm not drawing anymore. But depending on which low rarity units that you have portrait of, you can potentially also consider them outside of the roster that I mentioned. But these are the notable ones. But in the long run, the low star units, right, the low rarity units are not going to be that favorable because, like I mentioned, right, they have a cap. So they can only go up to I2, so they're going to get outclassed. And in Reverse 1999, it is a game of stars. The higher the star, the better. Okay, you can argue that, okay, some of the lower rarity units are better, but this is quite the hard truth. A lot of the stars matter a lot. And I also don't like the fact that a lot of these unique units, right, they are all at lower rarity. So you can see all this UFO cow, practically useless is a DPS. So just a rant over here, right? But regardless, this is the investment strategy for 6 units as well as 7 units roster, right? If you invest in some of the lower rarity ones for early Limbo progression. Now, the other thing that I'm going to mention about is the no investment strat. So a lot of the teams that you have, if you have 6 units, right, you have 1 empty slot. What can you do with the empty slot? And that is you can use it for sacrifice strats. You can use it for no investment strats. And the first one I'm going to talk about is going to be Leilani. So Leilani, you can see, right, at Insight 1, which comes with the quest, instantly enter battle, Moxie +1 for all allies. Additionally, Moxie +1 for caster. So you can either use Leilani at the start of the battle itself, so that the first turn she's going to probably die off, and then you can benefit from the Moxie. Your other unit, invested unit, can come into the team, and then you can benefit from the additional Moxie at the start this way. Secondly, you can put her at the assist role, and once one of your units die, Leilani comes in and give you additional Moxie. But personally, I prefer the first one to get Moxie instantly to get a better start. Second one is going to be Eagle. Eagle, although I mentioned good for investment, but even without investment, she's pretty good as a sacrifice role. You can see go inside the battle, inside once, instantly sends the weakness. So reality defense and critical defense minus 20. So this is good in combination with beacon. You can stack it up, and this is going to deal a lot of reality damage. And also critical defense is pretty good for like Leah, and stacked with the fact that she's a reality attacker. So very good stacking with Leah as a sacrifice role. And also we are going to have some of the more niche sacrifice roles. So the first one is going to be this radio, this Miss Radio. Okay, I'm going to show you Miss Radio as well as the dog. These are two good sacrifice units, and I'm going to show you in a certain stage. So right here, we are at a hard mode stage. I think this is 4-11. So this hard mode stage has a mechanic that is very commonly seen. You would have already seen it in earlier stages. And once I start the battle, you should understand. This is where all your Moxie is going to be full for all the characters. Okay, so the enemy also have Moxie full, and these characters hit freaking hard. I know in the early game in normal story mode, when you see this, you're just like, whatever, I'm just gonna kill them with my ultimate, right? What a fool. Why do they give me the ultimate? But in hard mode, if you are under level or you are close to the level, you're going to face a problem, and this is where Miss Radio comes in. Okay, first one, Miss Radio. So you can see Miss Radio, mass attack, loses all HP and deals 100% mental damage, Moxie -4, and inflicts 2 rounds of disconcert. So disconcert basically means that they cannot regen any of the Moxie. So if I just do this, you guys will have a clear idea of what I'm trying to do. Look at this. Bam, disconcert cancels all their ulti in one turn, reduces Moxie by 4. Meanwhile, your team can cast your ulti and then loses all HP so that your main character can come in. Very convenient for this kind of stages. Okay, so this is the first application for you to make the stages a bit easier. Now, next contender for the Nobel Prize, right, sacrifice themselves, is the door. Okay, this piece of glass door, you think he's a piece of shit. Okay, I just assume the gender. Okay, don't scold me. Okay, regardless, this door, very good for Nobel Prize, sacrifice himself. Okay, over here, you can see what does this ulti does. Mass buff, HP minus, soul sacrifice basically, and then Moxie +2, which is useless in this case, but inflicts a shield with the target's attack times 100%. So on their own personal attack, it's going to plus 100% shield, and also they enter Inspire. Basically, what Inspire does is that every turn they are going to start the turn with +1 Moxie. So you can definitely use Eternity Ultimate very fast because you are going to get additional 2 Moxie just from this buff. This benefit is that it doesn't prevent the enemy from using their ultimate. So if the ultimate disables you, like paralyzes you, all this, it's not going to be as useful compared to Miss Radio. But still pretty good if I were to just use it. You can see, sacrifice himself, please, come on. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, I bet a lot of you have never seen this ultimate before. Look at this, gain shield, okay? Little bit of shield, but it's mainly the Moxie that is important, okay? And then it comes in with the Soter B, okay? But like I mentioned, you can see, right, it doesn't do that much if they paralyze you. So I much prefer Miss Radio in this kind of scenarios. But of course, if you want to invest in a 2-star unit just for this purpose itself, right, you can use it even on normal stages so that you're able to benefit it not just with special class stages, but that is really up to you. Now, of course, knowing what to invest is only part of the game, right? You also need to know what things to do so that you can progress the fastest. So definitely check out this video over here where I touch on the best beginner guide that you can find with the tips on what you should invest in and what are the things that you should focus on. I'll see you guys over there. This is Corky Gachas, signing off.